Alright, let's try this out. I bought this little tripod in the summertime and I was gonna use it for summer videos, but I didn't. And then I was talking with my grandson and he was like, Nana, why don't you use this? And so this is what we're doing. I'm trying to even it out. It's like it's got spongy legs, so I don't know if it's gonna show up crooked or not. I can't tell. But the same thing happened like yesterday when my co-host, my co-producer Serenity was over and she was listening, you know, and I drug out some of the things that I had purchased for my YouTube channel. Like there's this little clamp-on light that I got for $5.99. I got this little tripod. I think this tripod was actually $6.99 and the light was $5.99. I don't know. But I haven't really used them or really tried them out very much. I did a couple practice videos, but not anything you can really tell. I didn't really see a big difference in how I do things. But while my grandson and I were, he's 13, we were discussing, you know, social media. We do it all, we discuss the topic a lot. And we talk about channels, and I have a channel, and we discuss stuff like things that I didn't know about my channel. Like, I did not know that there are people that I don't know that watch my channel because they have property out here and they're somewhere else and they can't come check on their property, and I just happen to be in that area, so they'll look through my videos and, you know, figure out where I'm at, and they'll watch that video and they can see their property. There are people that bought property out in the area and they're just interested in a little bit of the history, or which I don't know much, and I'm learning, and we'll learn together as we go along. And or they just want to check out the weather. I have a lot of people that are Oregonians that I actually don't personally know, but am getting to know over time through the channel. And then about 250 of my subscribers, probably more close to 300, are my artist friends, family, my personal friends, people that I know. I do have a lot of friends that I've made over the years because I grew up here, and I don't have any friends that I'm really not friends with anymore. Like I don't really have friends. I treat everybody the exact same, and I've always done that. I've always been really, really honest, even if it hurts somebody's feelings. And the only time I end friendships is unless that person is truly a bad, not necessarily a bad person. I don't want to really say that, but they're not a good influence, or they have a lot of bad habits, and I see myself picking up those bad habits, and I don't want. It's hard enough. Everybody already has bad habits. Nobody wants to pick up more. So, and that's a very rare thing that I end a friendship. Like, they really have to either mistreat somebody else directly in front of me, or they have a history of it, or they're a pattern of doing that. I won't associate with them. I just won't. But I'll tell them why. I don't just stop talking to somebody without telling them why. You know, I don't, and I don't do it mean. I just do it bluntly. Like, hey, I don't like the way that you treat people, maybe you're going through something, I don't know, but I know that I can't be around it because I just don't like that. And you know me, and you know how I am. So that's how it is. And a lot of people I've known, I mean, through my family, I have a really, really big family. I've lived in a lot of towns in Oregon. My parents traveled around a lot. We moved a lot. And I went to a lot of different schools here in Oregon. I've also lived in Nevada for a big chunk of my life. And twice. I've lived in Nevada twice. 10 years, both stints. And also coming back to Oregon all the time. It's just how it is. I can't even think of somebody that, I mean, the only enemy type person I would say that would be like an enemy would be, like, I don't even know. Because I've never taken a man from another girl. I don't steal. I don't think I've ever done anybody wrong. When I make a trade, I've always had this philosophy, and I can go back until I was like 15. This philosophy has always been the same with me. I want a fair deal. A fair deal. But I will walk away. I want to walk away from a deal to where I feel like we got a fair deal and the other person got a little bit better of a deal than what I got. And the reason why I believe that I like that is because, there's that thing in the Bible where it talks about store treasures up in heaven. I don't know what those treasures are. I don't necessarily know how to get those treasures. I don't know what their value would be I know absolutely nothing. So, in order for me to have a little bit of something, I do things in this particular way so that, I don't know. It's knowledge. I've learned a lot from it. I've not had any problems doing it this way. There's only a few people in my life that I've met that were the exact same way that I was, and so the transition was a little bit more difficult with the trade. And I can throw a name out there. I'll just throw a first name, and like the people in Bandon will know. Well, I don't want to throw a name out there, but anybody who ever dealt with somebody, a certain person in Bandon, knows that he likes it when you owe him. So he'll make deals with you to where you always kind of like a little bit owe him. And that's just the way he does stuff. And I don't like to owe. I don't owe anybody. I've gone through my entire life without owing people. And that's been difficult, and I've sacrificed a lot, and I've suffered a lot in order not to owe people. Like, I don't owe credit cards. I don't owe car payments. I don't owe nothing. I owe nothing. No doctor bills. Like, I just pay stuff off with every cent that I have, and if that means that I don't eat, then I don't eat. I don't care. I don't like owing nobody. Oh, but anyway, I gotta tell you this funny story that my co-producer, Serenity, said to me yesterday after my grandson left. Because we were, talking about social media and all that kind of stuff. But she says to me after he leaves, she's like, Nana, why do people do that? And I said, do what? And then she said, those girls that you were talking about. And I was, what girls? And then she said, those girls that you were just talking about. And I said, what girls? And she said, those girls you were talking about with my grandson. And I said, Felicia. I laughed so hard because I work with her, like she's my co-producer on my channel, and so I teach her how to use the light, even though we don't use it. And yesterday I was learning how to use the tripod, and then I teach her how to use it too. Just everything that I learn, I try to teach her because it actually helps me learn a little better. And plus she'll come up with some really good ideas, or ask questions that I'm not asking about the product, and then I'm forced to find out, which just helps my knowledge grow with it. And so I did not know how to explain a Felicia or a Karen, because we don't witness that kind of stuff. Like there's not stuff, like that's not happened. And though my grandson mentioned Karen, he said, I saw these videos with Karens on it, and I remember telling him, well, you shouldn't watch those, but really, they seem like they can be funny, but really, it's really not a good idea to, push those, because in the day and age with social media, everybody wants to do something to get attention, and they'll sometimes do these, outrageous behaviors, and if everybody keeps watching it and stuff, then it becomes normalized, and then then they'll just go to the next level and the next level and the next level. And then I said, we just got to close the door on this, like just walk away like a Felicia, run away like a Felicia, or something to that thing. But I said that, and I really shouldn't have even added Felicia, but it was like in passing. We weren't in this massively in-depth conversation. I was tinkering around in my dining room cleaning, and he was tinkering around in the living room area with my TV, and Serenity was just lounging like she usually does in the chair, and it was just passing conversations. But it's funny that she picked up on it, and luckily I didn't have to. I have time to come up with a suitable explanation, because my daughter ended up coming out, and the conversation ended up changing, and we laughed, and I told my daughter about it, and we laughed about it and stuff. So her question was, why do people do that? So my answer to it, because I know that the question's going to come up again, because that's the way she is. So my explanation for it is going to be, people right now with social media, with channels like mine, YouTube, and I don't know what other platforms they use. I'll have to find out. I think she only uses the kids' YouTube. And people do things to get attention, and I'm gonna have to explain to her what the attention seeking reasons are for. They don't feel good about themselves. They feel like nobody notices them. They clout. They think that they'll get subscribers and views and attention for doing this stuff. And I'm going to have to explain to her, we know from having our channel since 2016 that it's not about getting attention. We don't do those kinds of videos. Those are not our style. We have a different style, and we we're only showing our friends and family and our subscribers that are interested in our style of videos. They like our kind of music that we like to listen to. They like flowers. They like, relaxation and, beautiful views and things like that. And there are other types of channels that maybe she don't see that have a different style and different ideas on how they want to present themselves. We have a specific way of how we present ourselves. We're not the kind of people that wants to be in front of the camera. We're the kind of people that likes the producing. We like doing the choreography. We like writing our script. Or we like sharing something that we find beautiful. And it's not about putting our faces in the camera. Ooh, there's a little bit of snow up here. So I'm gonna roll a little bit. Oh, got a little too comfortable. That means probably the 17, probably from the 22 to the, let's see, 13 mile marker is going to be rough, maybe. Got a little bit, these are just little patches of ice where the sun can't melt it. It takes a while for the pavement to heat up to melt those shadowy spots. And I was going 65, so slow it down to 50. I think we're like somewhere around the 32, 31. Oh, no, we're at the 28 mile marker. So in 6 more miles is usually when it starts getting kind of rough. But I've been avoiding going into La Pine because I have to go pick up Bella's ashes, and that's just really hard. And I don't know, Bruce is just like most of the day he seems fine, and then he acts like, I don't know, he doesn't feel good. But then I can't find anything wrong with him, and he eats good. And then he'll crawl up, then I'll get him up in bed, and then he's fine again. And he has always gotten more attention than Annabelle. Even though I was very, very close to Bella, he's very needy. He's always been very, very needy. If I'm loving on her, he'll come over and headbutt me and want attention too, so I have to pet them. I would have to pet them both. But Bella's she didn't like really being petted. She didn't like her fur to be messed up. If you petted her the wrong way, she'd let you know that she did not like that. She was very, very particular. She was always very picky, very particular. She would only sit in certain areas. She had to have her own chair. She was always very hoity-toity, very clean, very hoity-toity, didn't like to go get her paws dirty, nothing. He's the complete opposite. He'll roll around if I don't make sure that there's nothing that he can't roll. He's gross. I don't know, he's just a boy dog. Total boy dog. Digs. I gotta get on him about digging. Just all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to. I can't do anything this month. I'm busted. I can't do. 40. Going 40 on this isn't bad, but anything above that, and you can just really feel. I mean, I've got good tires. They're brand new. They have a lot of tread on them. But I'm just going to have, I'm going to have to invest in some studded tires. And then I'm going to have to buy some rims, 4 more rims and 4 tires, because I can't change my tires, and they're not gonna all fit. When I bought the tires, I had them mailed to me because they just weren't gonna. It would be too hard to try to put them in. This is actually a really small SUV, really tiny, and I probably could cram in 4 tires, then take them, bend 90 miles, and then have, the tires switched out, and then have to drive all the way back. Are you insane? You absolutely are. It would just be too much for me. It's just better for me to have 4 rims and 4 studded tires, and then have my other 4 rims and regular tires, and just switch them out like that, because there's not really a place that I could go. Maybe Verlin over at V&V Auto in Christmas Valley. I wouldn't mind taking him to him because it's not very far, and I like supporting local businesses. I wouldn't mind that. I'll need to call him and ask him about that. Like, if that would be something that he does if I purchase them. I'm going to have to wait, though, until fall. I'll buy them in the fall. And because I already have plans, and all my savings got wiped out trying to save Bella. Everything I had wiped me out. So I'm gonna spend the next month or 2 trying to rebuild a little bit of what I had going, because it took a chunk. And then the spring is my favorite time to buy all my gardening stuff, which this year I don't have to buy near as much, because now I know the stuff that I want to use and the stuff that I didn't want to use. A lot of stuff I purchased was experimental, and I just didn't know, like how good those materials were. And I'm not a gardener. This is just a new thing that I just discovered a few years ago. And I watch a lot of channels, and I get a lot of my ideas from them, and sometimes things work amazing for them, and I love the idea, and then I try the idea and it just doesn't work out here. And it's because we have rough seasons. We literally have 2 seasons. We have super hot, and we have snow. I know I shouldn't be hitting my brakes but I hit them way before I get to these little spots. And slowed down. I slowed down to 30 this time instead of going 40. Sometimes I skim over them going 40 and it doesn't seem anything, but I can feel. This is not I have 4-wheel drive, I think. I mean, which I don't need right now, but I would use it if it was really bad or whatever. But this was not my dream vehicle. It just wasn't. But it was what was available, and it's not about my needs. My needs are met if I've got a vehicle that has a heater, air conditioner, and can get me from point A to point B. I don't really care. but my family needs are bigger. And even though I live by myself, my daughter, my son-in-law, and my 3 grandchildren live next door. And they have a large vehicle because they have a large family. And, you know, like it fits their needs. It's their dream vehicle. But sometimes their dream vehicle doesn't always pull through for them. And this little never-ending SUV does. Like it's like the little, it's like Batman and Robin. My SUV is like Robin. It's like a little sidekick that's always there when you need them. But they don't really have a lot of power or a lot of, you know, space. And let me tell you what, my homie Nancy and I have stuffed a lot of things in this car, and it's always been an issue. This is our only vehicle that we've ever had to try to stuff stuff into that wasn't fun. Or we could look at something and say, oh yeah, that'll totally fit. Like with the SUV, we have to look at something and say, well, let's try. That's how this has been for us. And you would think that it would be way better, or like, because we've stuffed a lot of stuff in little tiny cars. Like she had this Volvo once. Oh my gosh. We stuffed that car so many times, and for some reason that car never looked like it was stuffed. It always looked really clean, straight, and you know, it was a crazy vehicle. I remember when she sold it. I remember the lady she sold it to and stuff. I was bummed because that car was so her. And then my Jetta, I've had my Jetta for like, I don't know, 12, 14 years. Embarrassingly long time. But there's only 87,000 miles on it. Because I only like driving it in the summertime. And, you know, but it's a little get up and go car. It gets really good gas mileage. The only problems that I've ever had with it was one time I hit a deer and launched over that deer, and it put a baseball size hole through my tranny, and then I broke my clutch on it. And then I started the 1 year I was having like the wheels were making weird noises, and I kept complaining I kept taking it to shops and complaining. They didn't know what I was talking about. I'm crazy. I'm hearing stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And then one day I was coming down. I can't believe I can't remember the name of the hill. But I was going down this hill, and it was really windy. And it was in between Bandon and Coos Bay. It's that little cutoff across the street from the Charleston. Beaver Hill. Dang. Justin, where are you when I need you? You always know exactly the word I'm looking for. Beaver Hill. I was coming down Beaver Hill, and it was just before dark, and my tires locked up. My back tires locked up. And luckily, I wasn't going very fast, and I slid into a small gravel patch, super small patch, but I was stuck, and it was on a corner. I couldn't move. I remember I called my insurance company and said, I don't know what to do, blah blah blah. She said, I'll send a tow truck, because I have like, you know, AA, AAA or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, she said she was in a tow truck, and this is terrible. before the tow truck got there, a police officer, a Coke Hill police officer, was coming from Coos Bay, and he stopped. And then it started pouring and raining, and it was just so cold. It just got so cold. And he was such a nice police officer. He had dinner, like, which is his lunch for work or whatever, and it was homemade. His wife was a fabulous cook, and we sat in his SUV. He had a blanket. I got to put a blanket on my lap. He had extra water. We drank water. We ate his dinner together, and it took over an hour and a half before the tow truck guy got there. And then then the tow truck guy couldn't get the car because of the position that it was in. So the police officer ended up pouring water on my rotors or whatever, on my back tires, and he kicked them, and it kicked them loose because they seized up. And then we got the car on the whatever you call it, the tow truck thing, on a flatbed tow truck. And then I was living in Coke Hill at the time, so I wasn't comfortable with riding with the tow truck driver. And the police officer, oh my goodness, he was so nice. He literally, the tow truck driver said, "All right, get in, I'll take you home," because he asked me where he wanted my car to go, and I wanted it to go to my house. And then the police officer said, "Oh, she can ride with me." And so then, because I lived literally like right a few blocks from the police station, and so I was thankful for that. Got home, parked the car. It sat there for a month or two, and then a very dear friend of mine, Eddie, if he ever watches my vlog, I took it. I tried to get a quote on it, and the Les Schwab wanted to charge me like $550, said I needed like all this work done. And I don't know. But so a friend of mine came over, Eddie, fixed it for $24. My rotors were bad. It literally, somehow my e-brake got wrapped up in my back driver's tire, and it melted everything back there. Like, it was awful. Just horrible. Well, he fixed it, and then a couple years, I would say like 6 years went by, maybe 4, and I noticed that same sound, but this time it was in the passenger front tire. So I knew immediately what to do, because Eddie had showed me. Oh, man, everybody must hate me on the road, but I just drive slow. I am not comfortable. I'm sliding right now, like I can feel it. And anyway, so I knew from what Eddie had showed me, you know, that when you hear that sound, blah, blah, blah. So I went and I ordered 2 new rotors to put on the front end, and they were the wrong rotors. They didn't fit. Like, the little holes wouldn't line up. So I take it back in to I forget the name of the place that I just said. Napa. That's where I bought it. Argued with the guys for a while, because my Jetta is the Wolfsburg edition, and there's 2 different kinds, I guess, of the same car, but they're different. Like, their parts are different, and they're not cheap either. Let me tell you what, every time I buy parts for that dang car, it costs me an arm and a leg. And and they told me I had bad struts or something, but I bought struts for it. Those are still sitting in the car. I need to get those put on. But yeah, so then I had those rotors changed out, my son-in-law did it, and the car works fine, but the reason why it's parked right now is because the first year that I had it here, the water pump froze and then burst. So then we're in a new water pump, and we go out there to pop the hood, and there was a rabbit sitting right in my engine, and it had chewed some of my wires right there. So now I've got to figure out what wires are chewed up. I think I just want to get a whole new wiring harness. I know that that's going to the extreme, but you know, I really like that car. It only has 87,000 miles on it. I've had it for a really long time. I really like that car. Like, it's a very comfortable car. And this is not my favorite car. But I can't really complain about this car, this SUV, because I have 342,152 miles on this puppy. Yeah. And it's a... what is this? I think it's a Honda. It's a Honda, I think. It's got the H on the steering wheel. I think it's... See, I just have no love for this car. I mean, you're a good car, but I'm not into buying... my Jetta has a whopping stereo system. It has everything. I spent a lot of money on just pumping up that Jetta. And it's a 98. I don't know why I'm thinking about, do you see me? I just pushed up my speed, and I don't know how it is up here yet or not. These people are driving pretty slow, so that doesn't give me very much confidence compared to the people that were whooping past me. I don't know what. Ooh. I don't know what mile marker I'm at, because I haven't been paying attention. Oh, here we go. Oh, we're at 15, 16, 17. 19 and 17 are always the two worst mile markers. Oh. That guy just threw mud up all over my car. So and we're at 15. But sometimes the 13 can be tricky. This stuff looks really wet right here, but I can still feel... Nasty. I know all the guys out there that are watching this are like, girl, move over. I will drive. I cannot stand driving in this kind of stuff. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I probably should have waited one more day or two, but the vet called me a week ago, and I was supposed to pick up her ashes like a week ago, and I've been avoiding it, and like today I feel really good. You know, yesterday was a great day for me. I got a good walk in, and so while I'm riding high, you know, in good mood, it's better to get... A long time ago, I heard this one lady say, it was really good advice. She said, I think I was like in my 20s. She said, do the worst first. When you get up on your day, for your day, get the worst done first. And the longer you hold on to the worst, the harder it gets to get it done. So I was like, could hear her voice inside my head. I don't know that lady. I was actually eavesdropping. She was saying it to somebody else. And it just stuck with me, you know? And so when for some weird reason, I can still hear her voice after all these years. And it made sense to me then. Just do the worst first. So, and I've been avoiding it. Wow, it's really slick. I can't believe it's this bad right here. Usually it's not that bad right here. I mean, I'm going 30 miles an hour. But I try to drive fairly slow because out here, I've come up along accidents before, and they gotta land the chopper on the road. Because, I mean, look, there's no place to land. It's all forest. And I've just seen it one too many times. And I've only been out here 4 years. And every year, sometimes twice a year, I've seen, and I don't even go to town that much, you know, to be able to be seeing a lot of accidents. But I've seen some terrible ones out here where they've landed the chopper and it's not good, you know. And you're out in the middle of nowhere pretty much. I am just surprised that they didn't plow this strip. I'm really amazed that it's this bad. Considering yesterday it could have all, like, if they would have snow plowed it and then yesterday's melt off, and it was pretty warm yesterday, I would have thought a lot more of this would have melted. And my daughter was pretty surprised that I was even going to go to town today. I probably should have waited one more day. But I just want to get this over with. Definitely do not want to be in town for too long, because when the temperature drops, it gets a lot slicker. It would be nicer if there was more traffic, you know, eating up this. I don't have anybody behind me right now. They never stay behind me for more than a few seconds anyway. Crazy drivers. They're ranchers. Ranchers fear nothing. Fear nothing. They drive big, huge, crazy contraptions and old trucks and new trucks, and you know, they don't snow plow their roads out at their house. They just whip right through it. They're much braver. Way braver than me. And the other side looks way worse. So coming back's not going to be pleasant. One mile marker. Yeah, I would have just thought maybe it's more snowy in La Pine. Yeeks. And I hate how it pushes me around. This is the only thing that keeps me from trying to go and try snowboarding. I would have to drive up some kind of mountain that looked like this, and I just, nope. If I could just miraculously be there, that would be one thing. But to drive to a place and see, like, that's all gonna turn to ice tonight because that's all wet. Oh, maybe it's gonna get warmer up here. It's such a long drive, I know. Do it all the time, and you get no radio stations or anything, no cell service, no radio stations, no nothing for the whole time, just you all by yourself. Oh, looks like this section warmed up really well. I mean, I think it's like 12:31, so maybe more will melt by the time I go back. I'm just going to the vet. I'm going to go to the grocery store because I really need some decent looking oranges and couple lemons, and I want to go to that little deli and get maybe some chicken or something that I can put in my salad to spruce my salad up a little bit. I always love my cranberries. I do cranberries. It's the only time I like bread. I do those croutons. I do croutons, cranberries, sunflower seeds. I like carrot shavings. A cucumber, which I just saw on another channel, that don't put your cucumber in the refrigerator until you're ready. Your cucumbers will last longer. So I'm going to try that. Because I do like cucumber too. I just don't like a lot of cucumber all the time. I like cucumber water, which that's a good way to not waste your cucumbers. Just throw it in a thing of water and then you can drink your cucumber water. Oh, look, it's all clear. I'm up to 50. 50. Working up to 55. Look how clear and nice. This is what I like, when it's nice and clear like this. My favorite. Ooh, and I'm kind of hungry, but I can't really my stomach doesn't like fast foods, so I don't eat fast foods because I'm so far away from home that if I don't feel good, I have to drive so far. And no. So, and I haven't been able to find a good fast food place that it's even worth taking the risk for, because I'm not risking it for McDonald's or Taco Bell. And a long time ago, Dairy Queen used to be good, but I don't know. I think they just start changing products. Look at that beautiful mountain. Oh, that mountain's so pretty. So gorgeous. Even the road, just even a photograph of the road standing in the middle of the street right here. Bam. There's a big bird. Oh, there's a bunch of them. It's just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. It looks like two clouds just sitting on top of that mountain. Two goofy clouds. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. I love this view. This is my favorite view when I'm coming into Lapine. This is 31. So I'm on 31 and I'll come out on 97. Oh, it's so pretty. 7 more miles. 7 miles. That's the 7-mile marker, which 7's my favorite number. So I'll know going back to watch at the 9-10 mile marker all the way to like, what was it? 28 is when I started noticing it being nasty. So I'll just have to bebop along slowly then from there. Oh man, look at that mountain. Look at all the different kinds of trees. Aspen trees do really well out here. Fir trees, pine trees. I have not seen any eucalyptus. I've not seen myrtle wood. I have not seen cedar trees. I've not seen any cedar out here. Definitely different from the coast. These trees are really always dry looking. But they're pine trees, and pine trees are so good for... Come on, I'm going 65 miles an hour. One time, Nancy and I were coming through, and we were just chatting away, two hens clucking, and I got pulled over on this strip. And I was going, I don't know, 69, and I got pulled over. And that wasn't that long ago. It was not even a year ago. It was, I don't think it was summertime. I think it was like spring. I think it was in the spring. And I got pulled over, and I got told to slow down. I mean, they run your background, your driving record or whatever, and the only time I've ever gotten anything is for not using my blinker. I didn't get a ticket, I got a warning for not using my blinker, and the reason why it's like notated or whatever is because 2 days later a different cop pulled me over again in the exact same spot for not using my blinker. And so they were like, "We're serious this time." And I was like, oh my goodness. There was nobody in front of me. There was nobody behind me. It was 9 o'clock at night. I was turning off at 101 in Coquille onto the school road that wraps around. It goes into the neighborhoods because I lived up there in that neighborhood. Yeah. I drove all the way from Coos Bay with nobody behind me, which is 30 miles of nobody. And I don't even know where those police officers were parked. And I didn't see him the second time either. Totally different police officer. And they pulled me over in the exact same spot. So I have no idea where they were hiding. Because I didn't see him the first time. And I didn't see him the second time. But they nailed me in the exact same spot for the exact same thing. So. I try to use my blinker now. Sometimes. But, in Coquille, you have to really be more conscientious because it's a super tiny town with a ton of cops. Really, really small town with way too many police officers. I'm not kidding. You cannot drive through that town without seeing 2 or 3. And even in Bandon, like, it's a small town too, and you'll see 1 or 2 of them, but you don't see them all the time, constantly. Every time you go to the store, you don't see one. Like, they're pretty lazy and, doing stuff or whatever. They don't have every single police officer on duty at the same time. And and here's the thing is, most of all the police in Bandon, because he went to high school with them all. So, I guess you really wouldn't pay attention to them as much. But Coke Hill is absolutely the most police officers I've ever seen in any town. A lot. Winston has quite a few that hang out there too, around there. But they're mostly looking for actual traffic violations. You see them parked, but they're not pulling over every other car. In Coke Hill, they're pulling over every other car. Every car. They're all criminals there, apparently. I don't know. They're pulling everybody over. And then here in Lapine, when you first enter into Lapine, the police station is on your right-hand side. And I see a police officer every now and again driving around Lapine. But I see more in Bend. When I go to Bend and, trying to find the little stores. I really don't like Bend. Bend is the most ridiculously laid out town I've ever seen besides Portland. The idiot who thought of roundabouts, I don't know. Awful. Absolutely awful. So many roundabouts, it's ridiculous. And I don't know if they just had like a speeding problem there or what the gig was, but it's like, oh yeah, the store is the third roundabout, and then you make a left, and then 2 more roundabouts, and then a right. You're what? Right there makes me not want to buy from people. Like, I won't go there. If it's gonna be difficult, I don't want to do it. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I had physical therapy in Bend, like either last year or the year before. I don't remember because I tried to put it out of my head. It was awful. I didn't like it. I'd rather just do the physical therapy at home, which I did. And the physical therapist even said that they could tell that I did way more than, because I was supposed to do it 5 times a day. And I was doing it all day, every day, for a couple weeks. Because I didn't want to have to keep going back. I broke my arm, broke my elbow. And I broke the turning bone to turn your arm. So, and then I had a cast. And then your arm gets all weak. And then, you have to build up strength again. And I wanted to hurry up and just get it done. So I did it like a million times a day. All the stupid little things they wanted me to do. And I healed pretty fast. Even the doctor and the physical therapist were surprised. But that just proves them right, really. If you do the work, it'll get done. So the more you do it, even like they said 5 times a day, I did it way more. I did their 5, and then I would do, it was like, I had to do 5 different exercises 5 times a day at 25 reps or whatever it was. And I would just do more. If they wanted me to do 25, I would do 35, 45. Like I would just build it up until I could do 50 in one sitting of the arm thing. And I healed pretty fast. Although I will say that my arm does hurt sometimes. Like I can feel I gotta slow down. So the police department is right here to the right. Deschutes County, or whatever. It's up in there somewhere, and then that's also, I don't know, some kind of social services. Shop Smart, they have a good deli. Then there's the Lapine Dental, but we just found out that there's a dental. Oh no, wait. eyeglasses in Christmas Valley. They have the Dollar Tree and the grocery outlet. I like the grocery outlet for getting like little garden stuff in the summertime, and they have watermelons and stuff like that. I bought a watermelon at Walmart a few years ago and looked great. Got it home, cut it open, it was completely rotten on the inside. And then my daughter did the same thing from Walmart. So I don't like shopping at Walmart, especially for food, stuff like that. Like, that was one of the grossest things I've ever experienced when I cut that open. It was so disgusting. Right here on the right hand side is a farmer's market, and that's where I like to get a lot of vegetables and stuff, but clearly in the wintertime there's no farmer's market. So just drove straight through La Pine. Right up here on the right is a gas station, McDonald's, and a sandwich. What's the name of that sandwich? Subway. I don't like bread, or not necessarily, I shouldn't say that. It's not that I don't like bread, it's that bread doesn't like me. Bread hates me. So I try not to eat it other than like croutons or like maybe one piece of toast. I try to avoid sandwiches. If I'm going to eat a sandwich, I'd rather it be a sandwich that's really worth my while. Like, which there's not a lot of sandwich stuff out there that's really worth my while. Like a meatloaf sandwich is worth my while. Because meatloaf is... Like meatloaf? I'm a meatloaf girl. I'm beef. I grew up with beef. What's for dinner? Anything with beef. Anything. I love beef. And that's one of the great things about moving where I did, because of all the cattle ranchers. They are awesome. They're so, like, you can get, I get good meat. Good meat. And, also out there where I'm at, there's a place called the Cowboy Dinner Tree, which a lot of people love. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. And I'm going to go there. It's like $45, I think, for a meal, but the meal is massive. Like, you get either a whole chicken or a gigantic slab of beef. Stuff like that. Like, it's a huge meal. Like, it's enough for me for 3 days. 3 days. I can have dinner, lunch, and dinner. And I'm gonna go out there. They're not open right now. I think they're only open maybe on Fridays or something. But I'll go out there and are they not open? Oh no, there's a car there. There's a car. Alright, so I'm gonna end the vlog because I don't know how I'm gonna react right now. And I just don't want to be a blubbering fool. Alright, thank you guys for riding with me. I did not feel so alone, and that makes it all worthwhile. Love you guys. Bye.